Hey, what's up? So today I'm going to talk about the topic of willpower. Willpower essentially is that limited resource that we have in our brains which allows us to get stuff done, to accomplish tasks, to make decisions, to override, our automatic behaviors, and basically that thing in our brain that allows us to, get the stuff that you need to do done. Okay, so essentially what you want to think of willpower as is you're kind of like, your brain is like a phone battery, so to speak. So you start off your day with a full charge. You're 100%, and you have the energy to make decisions. You have the power to resist, making bad decisions. You're just fresh. You have all the energy, etc. But the more you make decisions throughout your day, the more you get tired from doing all that stuff that you have to do. Usually by the end of the day, you're burnt out and you just don't have any more energy left, which is why most people cheat on their diets in the evening, or they get into arguments with their loved ones, which is stupid. But when you don't have any willpower left, you don't have the ability to quiet down those impulses. You just rely on your automatic behavior. It's easier to go for the bad food, or to start getting upset when someone says something that you don't like, or things like that. So the idea is that you need to learn to use your willpower in a way which is optimal, so that you can get the most important stuff out of the way as soon as possible, but at the same time have enough energy to sustain that throughout your day and not crumble at the end of it. So that's what I'm going to try to teach you today, and hope you enjoy. Okay, so as I said, essentially you want to think of your willpower as a limited resource, something that you don't have an unlimited reserve of in general. So I would say that a good strategy would be to do the most important thing first thing in the morning, when you have the most energy. So that's why I actually love building healthy habits, because essentially when you build a habit, you no longer have to exert that much willpower, just because the behavior at this point is automatic and you don't have to think about it as much. But when you're building a habit in the beginning, it can be a little bit difficult because you're not used to doing that thing, and as a result you have to exert more energy. Whereas if you do it for like a couple of months, it becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it as much. But in the beginning it's difficult, so whenever you have to do something important, make sure you do it first thing in the morning. That would be the best solution in my personal opinion. And when it becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it that much anymore. You can just do it at any point in the day, simply because it's a habit, and as I said, you don't need to exert that much willpower. You don't have to override your automatic behavior because it's a habit. Okay. Another thing would be to carefully manage how you actually use your willpower throughout your day, and you mustn't make things any more difficult on yourself than they need be. Like, for example, things like making decisions, as I said, overriding automatic behavior or resisting something. Those are all things that they tax your willpower. Like, for example, if you have some unhealthy food next to you, and all day you say, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to eat it, I'm not going to eat that. But at the end of the day, when you're exhausted, I've experienced this way too many times. You actually, at the end of the day, you just resist. You're like, what's the big deal? Let's just eat it because it's easier and it makes you feel good right now. We usually tend to favor immediate gratification over long-term growth and things like that, which is why you have to manage your willpower responsibly and carefully, because otherwise you're going to fall back into your old patterns and you're gonna revert to unhealthy behavior. That's actually why the sweets at stores are placed at the end of the store, so that when you're low on willpower from all that decision making, you have to think about, oh, should I buy this? Maybe there's a better price, blah blah blah. You keep thinking about it, and using your willpower, that by the end of your shopping spree, so to speak, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just grab a quick sweet over there. It's just easier. It's easily accessible. It's not a big deal. It's just a little candy bar, things like that. And that's how they get you. So just don't fall into that trap and manage your willpower very, very carefully. And you have to be extremely careful about that. A really cool thing that I've discovered is that you can actually replenish your willpower throughout the day. So let's say you have a willpower crash, so to speak, in the middle of the day. What do? Do you just give up and go and eat that unhealthy food, or revert back to laziness and things like that? No, you can actually do some things that have been proven to work and actually increase your willpower, your ability to resist temptations or get stuff done. So I would say the two things that really help me out is one, taking a snack, a healthy sugary snack, let's say a banana or something like that, and a nap. A 20-minute nap in the middle of the day is actually perfect because it simply refreshes your mind, and you're able to think more clearly, and you don't fall into temptation because you just get that much needed rest, and it really, really helps out. I mean, I tell everyone this, but a 20-minute nap is a golden solution. And the snack, it actually helps out because your willpower is actually, I'm not sure about this, but I read about it, that essentially your willpower is also related to your glucose levels, your blood sugar levels, and basically when your blood sugar is low, you tend to, you just don't have that much willpower. Whereas if you eat some food, you get that energy going, and you improve your ability to think more clearly and take better decisions, make better decisions. But when you're tired, I find that this doesn't help as much. So when you combine the two, let's say you take a nap and you grab a quick snack, that's actually the best way to replenish your willpower throughout the day. But I would say that sleep is really, really critical. Like, for example, that's why when you're in the evening, you're tired, you can't make decisions efficiently anymore. But when you go to sleep, you wake up the next day and you feel normal again, just because your willpower has been restored. As I said, you can think of your brain as like a phone battery. You just charge it throughout the night and you're fresh again in the morning, but you have to use your energy responsibly. So other things that I've heard help are meditation, that idea of focusing on a certain point, trying to not think for, let's say, 20 minutes. I do that every day for 20 minutes, and it's pretty efficient. I'm not sure if it helps out with replenishing my willpower, but it's definitely a healthy habit on its own that you should adopt. But I would say that these two things are what help me the most. Another extreme example, which actually works as well, is exercise. I'm not completely sure that works reliably, but I think that when you kind of shock your body, let's say you get scared, or you receive some frightening news, your body just automatically kind of wakes up. 1 second you're like all tired, and you hear something that kind of frightens you. It's like, whoa. And you certainly have that extra bit of energy that you can use to your advantage. That's something that I'm not completely sure if it works for everyone, but for me, I would say this is also a very efficient way of waking your body up. I'm not. You can also use other energy drinks and stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of those because they have all these unhealthy components that I just don't think they're that useful or healthy for you. So I try to avoid them. But if it works for you, just do it. And sometimes this is better than nothing, because usually you might say, okay, I'll just hold on for a little bit longer. But what happens in the end is that you you actually fall even worse because you didn't replenish your willpower muscle, and things just don't go the way that you would want them to. So the cool thing about willpower is that I believe it can be straightened much like a muscle. So that's why it's often called the willpower muscle. The idea is that when you put your willpower to the test, when you strain it with all sorts of things that you're trying to accomplish, you actually make it stronger, with time. Like, for example, when you're trying to build a new habit, at first, as I said, it's really difficult because you're not used to doing that behavior. But over time, that behavior becomes pretty much automatic. You do it without thinking about it, and it's just really not that big of a deal. And your ability to do more and more stuff is actually increased. You become better at it. So I believe that you can actually strengthen your willpower muscle. I'm not so sure how this works with resisting temptation. I've heard that you can actually, let's say, for example, put on a piece of candy or something like that in your pocket, and you look at it from time to time and just say, no, I'm not going to eat that, as a way to just strengthen that willpower muscle. And I'm not sure how efficient that is, but you can definitely give it a try, and perhaps it will work for you. But I would say that the number one way to increase your overall willpower is to build healthy habits that, provide personal growth, help you out to become a better person, and essentially you become mentally stronger as well. And one more concept that I almost forgot, you can actually try to experiment with the mindset of thinking that basically your willpower is unlimited, because I have seen some information regarding some studies that say that willpower is a limited resource if you think it is. So if you try and reframe it in your mind as something that is unlimited, as in like you always have that reserve tank of energy that you can tap into whenever you need to, you might actually get some additional success. I've only recently started to experiment with this, and I have to say I have had some success with it, so there may actually be some validity to this idea. So I would say try it out for yourself and see if it works for you, and if it does, keep on doing it. So it all depends on how you view it in your mind. And one last thing, remember to not, beat yourself up over this. You're always gonna have moments where you're gonna fail. You're gonna struggle to keep your willpower in check. You're gonna fail. You're gonna eat the bad food. An important thing to remember when such times arise, and they will inevitably, you're gonna fail. I still fail from time to time as well. It's just something that happens. You can't be perfect all the time. You have to learn to forgive yourself, especially with dieting. It's pretty critical, but what scientists have found, this is what I read in some books a while ago, is that let's say you try to keep a perfect diet, but one day you just fail and you just eat the bad food, you eat the pizza, whatever. Essentially, if you get mad at yourself and you start with all this negative self-talk, oh, I suck, I failed, blah, 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 what happens is that you actually feel worse, and this increases the chances of you repeating that thing. It increases the chances of you eating the bad food once again in the future. While instead, if you just forgive yourself and say, okay, I'm only human, I fucked up. I screwed up, and I'm going to try to be better in the future, but for now, just accept it as it is, and I'm not going to judge myself over it. That actually calms down your brain, and you're able to resist it. You're able to resist the temptation of repeating that mistake in the future. So don't judge yourself. Another trick is, for not falling into temptation again with food. I love these examples because I actually struggle with it too. I've struggled with it, and I still struggle with it occasionally, but you can trick your brain from not eating the bad food by not saying, okay, oh no, I can't eat this. that's actually a bad strategy. Don't say that. Don't be like, oh no, I can't eat this ever again. Instead, when you're offered like some bad food to, you consider yourself, okay, I'm gonna eat it, but later, maybe a couple of minutes, half an hour later. Okay, I'll just do it later. The idea is that you're not forbidding yourself, because the more you try to restrain yourself from doing something, that actually makes it even more tempting to do it. So this way, you're not really saying, "Oh, I can't do this." You're just saying, "Okay, I'll do it, but I'll do it later." You're essentially procrastinating from eating the bad food or doing the whatever thing you're trying to avoid. So that's actually a pretty cool trick that I've discovered, and it works actually pretty amazingly. And I would recommend that you check it out. So willpower is actually a pretty complex topic, and I would say that I'm actually just delving into it, but it's something that really changed my perspective on life as a whole, and my way of viewing how to accomplish my goals and become a better person. So I would suggest that if you're interested in this topic, there are like 2 books that I really recommend. One is The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal. She's like a PhD professor at a really famous university, and the book is filled with useful information. It starts from all the way from the beginning, explaining how your mind works, how your mind handles willpower, how your prefrontal cortex is responsible for overriding, making decisions and things like that. And the other one is called just Willpower by Roy Baumeister or something like that. But both are extremely good books, and they will provide extreme insight into this topic. So it's really beneficial, and I would say that you should read those books simply because it will give you a deeper context. I mean, these are some important nuggets of information that I've gotten out of it, but usually people resonate with different things. So when you read the book, you might get something else out of it. You might get some other valuable information, and you'll be able to resonate with it in your own way and get the most important stuff for you. So read it, and that's how you'll get the most benefit out of it. That's what I have to say on this topic. As I said, check out those books. They're really cool, and you'll probably get a lot more information than from this video, but I hope I at least sparked your interest. And hope you enjoyed the video. I'm out of here. Peace.